welcome back to Unfiltered Unspoken. And of course, I told you we're going to keep giving it to you because we have another wonderful testimony. And when we from the area, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, we have a native straight from here that's about to share his life experience. And Thomas, no, I've been watching him for a while, so I had to slide on in to grab this one, right? So I Thomas is 165 days sober today after 27 years of alcohol addiction, but there is some more traumas that come behind that. So yeah, let's give it to you. So I'm gonna bring Thomas on up. He gonna share a brief little bit about himself, and you know what me and Sid about to do. We gonna get right on into it. Thomas, welcome to Unfiltered Unspoken. It is an honor to have you here today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on. Well, my name is Thomas Sykes. I'm 50 years old. Was born and raised in Washington, D.C. In the Northwest area. I have 6 kids. And that's basically it. I'll let the questions do the rest of the answer.
All right. Well, just by, kind of perusing your bio and, what you've told us thus far, you are in recovery as an alcoholic, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And with that being said, let's kind of peel back the layers a little bit. So, in retrospect and your healing and, everything that it's taken to get into recovery, what have you realized or think that you have been through? What have been specific points in your life that maybe had contributed to that addiction?
It really wasn't. It really wasn't no point. Well, how I started was I can't. When I got incarcerated at a young age, I didn't drink nothing, didn't do nothing. So I was riding with my friends one day after coming home after doing 7 years, and I asked them for a cranberry juice. So they spiked my cranberry juice, and I started drinking from then on. And I was 23 then.
Now, to take it back a little further, what made you or what caused you to be incarcerated for the first time for that 7-year bid?
Okay, I was 16 years old, and a brief little story where we were sitting on the front on some cars, and a gentleman came out. I mean, a lady came out and said we were sitting on the back of her car, which I wasn't sitting on the back of the car at the time. So she was like, she gonna get her brother or what have you. Her brother came down and he threatened us. What he gonna do to us? So I actually asked one of my friends to go get a gun. So he went and got the gun. We went in the back of the building, and I ended up shooting the gentleman. So I ended up doing 7 years for that.
So, what made you at that young of an age? How did you get possession of a gun? Like, why was why was it the first thing on your mind to say, go get a gun?
All right. Well, let me take it back a couple of days before this. I was already selling narcotics at the time at 16. So this pregnant woman comes up, and I tell everybody don't sell her no drugs because she's pregnant. So she got mad at that and had another young lady that was addicted to drugs to stab me. So where I'm going at with this is a connection. The lady that came out and said we sitting in her car, she just so happened to be visiting the pregnant lady. So when the pregnant lady came out, she like, I know he had something to say. I'm like, I ain't said nothing. I already just got out of the hospital from taking the stabbing from the first lady. I was only in the hospital for like a couple of days, so I had stitches in my stomach from when they cut my stomach open, and my side was open. So when the brother come out, she like him right here. So he came to me, and that's how everything went about. So I'm not in a position to be fighting nobody. I got stitches in my side open. So that's why I was like, go get the gun.
Understood. So you was already on defense with the whole posse of folks.
Yeah, it was already a connection with her. I tried to Everybody like he ain't. Even the lady that who car, she like he wasn't sitting on my car. He didn't say nothing, but she was so adamant. I think she was still mad at me about telling them not to sell her no crack while she was pregnant.
So she pretty much started something
Yeah, and then she like I'm going to
because
get my.
of that addiction.
She like I'm going to get my brother. I'm like, okay. He come back outside. I've been living around there since 1977. So y'all just got to the neighborhood. I don't know your brother.
Hmm.
So when
So
her
she
brother,
pretty much put her brother in a bad position.
right, he comes out, she points at me. I said, bruh, it's a misunderstanding. I ain't saying nothing to your sister. So the gentleman, I mean, the lady said he didn't say nothing. It's like my whole neighborhood is outside. And they like, he ain't say nothing. But he's so aggressive to protect his sister that he says he beats back. Now he sees a lot of us, he go get some other. So when he come back with the other gentleman, he tell us to come out the back of the building, which is Gibson Plaza up 7th Street Northwest. And we go in the back of the building. And by then, my buddy didn't walk as we walking out. My buddy walking past him with the gun. So we get out the back, and the two bigger guys, which is my buddy and the other gentleman from him that was with them, they like, let's talk about it. So when my buddy give me the gun, now he didn't raise. Now while we stand there while they talking, her brother raises up two bats about to hit me, and that's when I shot him.
Mm. Did he live?
I don't. Last I knew, he was a vegetable, but I think he passed away after I was sentenced.
Mm.
So
Did that
it
make you
wasn't
feel any kind
really.
of way?
Yeah,
Or
I mean, I wasn't out to harm him, but I think my frustrations was from already being stabbed from the same female that put me in another position where my life is on the line again. The
mm.
sister.
Right. Yeah, and that's just part of the profession. You know, looking over your shoulder 90% of the time. So
And
yeah.
then at that point right there, shot a gun before, but I never shot nobody until that day right there.
Hmm. Did you have
Now,
remorse for it? Did you? I mean,
Yeah, I felt bad because I wouldn't want nobody to do that to my family member.
hmm.
But the situation happened so fast. It was so fast, and like I said, I was 16 years old. When you make decisions back then, it wasn't no thinking. You just do whatever comes first. And
that
I
is.
was in position to, like I said, I already had, so I wasn't in position to move away from him fast enough, like to move away from the bat. So
Hmm.
first instinct was to shoot him. Now, the thing that got me the time, got me the 7 years because I didn't shoot him once, is what the judge said. I shot him multiple times. But that was
How many?
because I was a semi-automatic weapon. So, you pull the trigger, you're gonna keep on going until you let it go.
How many times did you shoot him?
I think like 17 times.
How many?
17 times.
Ooh.
I can see why they would say that.
As a child, were you scared? I mean, like just the.
Nah, I wasn't scared. I think I more just reacted to the situation. Because after it was over, it was racing through my mind the whole time because actually they didn't get me right then and there when it happened. I was able to go home and change my clothes and still be outside. So they didn't get me right then and there. So it was still racing in my mind the whole time I'm sitting outside. Then it's so crazy because as I'm sitting on this front and the police doing what they doing out the back of the building, now that I changed my clothes, the father comes out and I'm right there in his face and I'm like, and he like, who shot my son and this and that, but I didn't say nothing. The neighborhood didn't say nothing. And then I seen a police officer from where I was at. I could see the police officer like harassing my mother, like, where your son at? You know what I mean? So I walked down the street and
Go ahead, say you got something to say.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if you was
You a little stuck over there. You
going
like, okay.
to
Woo.
to further kind of peel it back a little bit more. What was your home environment like as to where you feel like you had to sell drugs at 16?
And that's so sad. I have to. I was a spoiled brat.
Mm.
That's
Like,
different.
I'm my mother only child, and I had everything. It's nothing I never needed.
So what did you get
So
out of, what was your reasoning?
To this day, at 50, I still can't tell you why.
do you
I
think it
just
was peer pressure?
nah, cause um, I never was a follower. I always had dudes around me. We was all even. It wasn't nobody following nobody. Actually, I think I was selling drugs before most of my friends, and
So if you
they used to ask me, "Tom, why you said your mother buy you everything?" And at that age, you like, I want my own money. I want my own this and this and that. So that's how that led to that.
so did you look up to the drug dealers? Is it like I want to be like them? I want the money. I want the clothes.
Nah,
Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. I had the clothes. I had the same clothes they had as any drug dealer in my neighborhood. I had the same clothes they had. If it was a label, this like Gucci, bought. I had all. My mother bought me everything. Like that's why I said it wasn't no sense of me selling drugs. I really can't sit here and say one thing made me sell drugs because it wasn't no sense that I should.
Understood. Do you think it had to do, well, before I say that, what, were you in a single parent household?
Yeah,
Okay. Now, do you think, going into drug dealing, I know you said it feels like, I want my own money, was the goal to really, try to be the provider, that wasn't there, or, try to display what you feel like a man should be from, what you had to kind of make up yourself?
nah, because it's kind of funny. In my household, my mother was the man and the woman at the same time, the mother and father at the same time. She taught me everything: how to fight, how to defend myself, just how to be a man all the way around the board. So it had nothing to do with me trying to be the man of the house. And then my mother had it where she could provide for me. So it wasn't no need of me going out trying to provide because it was food in the house. It wasn't like I was hungry or had to put some on the table because the table was already full.
mm, yeah, you gave a twist to that. I'm gonna shift just a little bit. You
Mm-hmm.
how so you went you got locked up at 16. You said you did 7 years,
Yes.
and that probably was because you were a juvenile, right? So they gave you less time.
No, no, what happened was, like I said, when I first got sentenced, he was a vegetable. So they charged me with mayhem. Mayhem is like um, disfiguring us, disfiguring something. Like if you hit a person with a car and you damage their leg, they can charge you with mayhem opposed to that was the lesser charge I can get opposed to attempted murder. I got mayhem. They had charged me with adult anyway. I was already ruled as adult. I think it was called Title 16 at the time. So I was already ruled as an adult. I was in adult court already.
Wow, wow.
Mm,
And
okay. So
like,
did being in prison traumatize you?
Um, I could say all right. Well, I went over to jail, and I was on the I think it was the City on the Seas block. But at that time, it was other juveniles like me that was charged as an adult. So we was all together. So it was like I wasn't around the men yet. But then when I got transferred to Lawton, I'm adult. I'm in there with the big boys now. So when I first go to the dorm, it's dark. And the CO like, go find a bed. You like, huh? So of course, 16, I'm in there with grown men now. And it's so funny because my first encounter with the dorm was I walk in and as she walking me to the CO lady walking me to my bed or tell me to go find a bed in the dock, it's two gentlemen slap boxing in the shower. I'm like, what the? what's this? Now it's hit me that, oh, you in jail now. You in jail. So as I'm there, I just start I start dealing with it, learning how to do time. And older guys will pull you up and try to teach you to do time. You know, when I say teach you how to time, they tell you mind your business, don't hang with a rack of people, stay away from certain situations.
So what is slap? You said slap boxing, right?
Yes.
What is slap boxing? Can you tell people what slap boxing is?
Okay, like they boxing, but they just got they no gloves, they slap each other. They
Okay.
just
It's like sparring, but
yeah,
like, sometimes you can go full out, sometimes you might not.
yeah, but the traumatized part, they butt naked though. And then
In the shower.
Mm,
they high. Now I'm saying um drugs in the institution. Now I'm
mm.
introduced to that, they high. And so that was the first thing. So I crawled up on my bed, never put my sheets on yet, because I don't want to wake the dude up under me up, because I don't know how that's gonna go. So I crawl up on my bed, and then in the morning when I wake up to go to breakfast, a lot of them recognized who I was. They like, that's Bonnie's son. Once they said that, it was kind of smooth selling because the reputation that my mother had, and everybody knew my mother. It was like, oh, that's Bonnie's son. So I didn't have a rough time at the beginning. I had no rough times.
That's any bit of a blessing is any bit of a blessing in that situation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm,
understood.
absolutely.
Understood. So, what did oh no, what I wanted to say. I From what I understand and what I hear, we could probably have the whole podcast on its own of what went on in Lorton. I hear that was off the chain in there.
Yes.
I, yeah.
Lawton, if you could survive Lawton, you can come out here and be a good citizen. Because you it's things in it you see that you can't duck. It's nowhere you can go. You
Mm,
lock. You can't go nowhere. But in this world, if you have a situation, you can get away from it because actually you could just not go where that situation at. You can stay in your own perimeter of where you live at. You can stay where you live at. You can stay in your home. You can duck stuff. But when you're incarcerated, you can't duck nothing. That's a whole new world.
hmm So, was that the only time you got locked up?
That was my first time ever being locked up. I never went to a juvenile facility. I never been in handcuffs. I never got locked up before.
Okay, and, what I'm saying is, was that the last time, Lorton? Was that it, or did you
Oh,
get out and
oh
go back?
no, I got out. I did. That's when I got. That's when they spiked my drink. Just coming home, probably home a week. I was in the halfway house. 3.5 years later, I get same neighborhood. I get an Old Street Market conspiracy. I end up getting 10 years.
Hmm.
And then, so
Was that
now,
was that
huh?
selling drugs again?
Selling drugs again. I end up with a conspiracy. With a with the same neighborhood. I call it a conspiracy. I go in for 10 years. I actually went in from 2007. 1998. I come back out 2007.
Did you go back to Lorton?
No, now it's the feds. Lawton was closed now. Now I
Okay.
go to the feds. So my first stop was Cumberland, Maryland. From Cumberland, Maryland, I got in trouble. They sent me to Long Park, California. Get to Long Park, California, whole nother DC situation. I end up in a hole for 19 months. I end up in Pollock, Louisiana for like 3.5 years. And then I come back to Petersburg for another, like, I want to say 3.5 years, almost 4 years. And then I came home. I came home May 25th, 2007. I've been home 15 years now, going on 16 years.
Well,
Yay!
congratulations. I've
Congratulations.
never known them to move from coast to coast. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, oh,
yeah,
you
they do.
did.
They-
if you get a shot, when I say a shot, like a write up, an incident report,
Mm-hmm.
fighting, knives, stuff like that, they send you from. It's like your comfort zone. Cumberland was close to DC where I can get visits and all that. So what they would do was they would send you way out California where you ain't gonna see your family. Now you're in a whole new environment. You know what I mean? It's like a punishment. You already punished, but then you get punished again because you're not getting no
Mm.
visits or that. You know what I mean? You're not seeing your family.
Wow. Yeah, I know that. How did that, how did that affect your being?
That's what I was gonna say. What did it mentally do to you?
It meant mentally, like okay, once you want. Let me see that. Let me say this. I don't think nobody can do time. Even me. I didn't done that time, but I can't go. I can go back if I have to, but it's a whole new adjustment. You gotta get when you go there, you gotta start doing the same thing repetitively over and over again. You know at 8 o'clock you're going to dinner. You know at 3 o'clock you gotta go on yourself for account. It's just you start doing something over and over again. Now you just used to doing the same thing over and over again. And then you look back, you like, Dad, I done been in here 4 years, 3 years, the time go. But no man can really sit here and say he could do time. You'll have some dudes that say that, but when you really look at it, nobody can do time. Because if you put me in a cell right now, and I'm like, nah, it's mental right there. It could be 1 day, 2 days. It still affect you, even though I did all that time. It's all together. I did about 20 years all together, like
How
back
many
and
years?
forth. Probably 20, because I did 7 when I was 16. I did the 9 and some change when I was older, and then I went back and forth a month here, a couple of months. So it all add up to about 20. But I still, if I was to get locked up today and go over to jail, it still mess with me because you got to realize, like got her name, but like she said, Lawton was a whole different situation. It's not the same when you go over to jail now. You got these young dudes in there, and it's just a whole new environment of doing time. Some of them don't know how to do time. So me know how to do time, my bit gonna be rougher because I'm trying to adjust to their time, but I'm doing the time the proper way, but I'm still got to adjust to how they do time.
Mm.
The loud noise, they all in sections that the gang, not gang, this my neighborhood, that's my neighborhood. It's just a whole lot of stuff you got to deal with. But if I was to go in, they would call me an old head because I'm older. So they really wouldn't pay me no mind. They worried about all the young guys that's in, that's their age frame and dealing with the same situation, neighborhood beefs and all that. So I wouldn't really have a problem, but it would traumatize me from being in it. Me at my age, what am I doing in here with these young guys again? So it affect me anyway.
So what made if you get locked up? Because I want people to see like you get locked out, you come out. Why do you want to go back? Like why? What is the
You
stigma of
you
the
you you,
back and forth?
you never want to go back, but at the time, Lawton was jail, but Lawton was street because you wearing street clothes. You still making street. You still making. You was. It's people that made money in Lawton, like they was on the street. They just was incarcerated. So you still living your life. Then you can have sex in Lawton, as far as visits. You sneak and have sex. So you're not doing it. It's not as hard. But when you get to the feds, it's a whole new ball game. The feds make you understand why you don't want to go back. You're a
Mm.
bit not easy as it was when you was in Lawton. Lawton, you at home, you getting visits every week. You get a visit on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. You spend your family on a regular basis. You can get on the phone long as you want. At that time, I went in Lawton in 1989, so the phone was free. You get on the phone. It wasn't no pay phone. But in the feds now, you got to pay for your call or your people got to set it up. And then you only get 15 minutes. Then you got to wait another 45 minutes to get back on. So you're not on the phone just talking. You have to wait a 45-minute grace period before you can get back on the call somebody. So when you get
I've
to
been
the
on that bus, the Lord.
huh?
I said I've been on that bus, the Lord, and how you had to catch the bus and then
You got on that
come.
Woody.
Yeah,
You got on that Woody's. It was a
I,
van.
I've been.
It
Yeah, I've been.
was, yeah, it was a van. So Lawton was a. After a lot of dudes from Lawton got in the feds, they realized Lawton was the best. It was jail, but it was the best. You was on the. It was like you was on the street. So you get in your mind, you 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 in there thinking everybody think it's a better way to hustle, but it's no way to hustle. There's no way to hustle. Dude think I can hustle, get a job. That ain't gonna work. I can hustle, stay out the way. That ain't gonna work. You gotta tell somebody. Somebody gotta tell somebody. It's just too much with it. So now I don't break no laws. I ain't got time for it. I learned my lesson.
And some don't. So you know, I completely understand that. You know, it's not something I don't think I could survive that one. So you know, it's a level of strength that I wish you didn't have to go through, but that I admire.
And then there's another big uh, snowball that really makes me don't go that route of thing. I my last bit, my mother passed away before I went home, before I can get out. And they didn't let me go to the funeral.
Oh no.
They said I,
Wow.
they said I was a flight risk after I'd been in 9 years. Like, well, and I was about to get out anyway. Come May, he passed away in November the 17th, 2006. I got out May the 25th, 2007. So where's the flight risk? But like the warden said, I couldn't go, so I didn't go. And when I did get released, I got straight out. And as I'm changing my clothes in the parking lot, the warden pulls up and say, "Did you go to the funeral?" I said, "Nah, you told me I couldn't go." But I said, "I tell you what, I would never be back in the institution to put myself in that situation again because I'm not exempt from nothing." That lets me know right then I'm not exempt. My mother passed away. I'm the only child, and I don't get to go.
I can only imagine how that affected you, like just mentally. Did you beat your? Is that did that cause the you to drink a lot or drink more?
You know what? A few years ago, I probably would have blamed it on that, but that wasn't it. That ain't had nothing to do with it because I have a supporting family, so it wasn't like I was out here by myself. I could say I was out here by myself because I don't have my mom, but I got my grandmother, my aunts, you know, cousins. I got family, supportive family, so it still wasn't no reason for me to be out here just drinking like I was drinking because I like the way I felt when I drink. I thought I was cool. I'm at the parties. I'm having fun. But then now I've been drinking. I'm still going to the same parties, still going to the same places, but I'm having more fun being sober, going there,
Yeah,
drinking water. Now I can really focus on my surroundings. I really can enjoy the music that I went to see. Half the time when I was going to the club drunk, I didn't even hear the music. I don't even remember what happened the night. When I wake up the next day, I don't even remember what happened. I know where I was at, but I don't be you. I wasn't remembering events. But right now, when I go to the club, I can tell you everything that happened verbatim right back where I was sitting here. I did this. I saw this person. Half the time, somebody might say, "I saw you last night." And you ain't see me. Whole time I was just too drunk to remember that I saw the person that's saying they saw me.
Understood. So to me, it seems when did I know you said you know after your first bid, your friends kind of spiked your drink a little bit. At
Mhm.
what point do you believe was the turning point where it turned into you know full blown alcoholism?
While I was out here, I was drinking, of course. So when I went in, here it is. I got 10 years. I'm still drinking. They making hooch. They're making white lightning. I'm still drinking. So I'm drinking my whole bit. My whole time I'm incarcerated, I'm drinking. So it never was a point where I wasn't drinking. Even though I was incarcerated, I was still drinking. I never used no drugs, but I still was drinking. But alcohol is a drug, so I still was drinking. So
Mm-hmm.
at least now I'm out here with the liquor stores, I'm still drinking.
Mm-hmm. So what
So
was the turning point?
I went
Because
to
it's 106. Well, we record. It'll be releasing, but it's 165 days,
yeah,
66 days.
I went to I went to a foot. Well, I always go to the Redskin game with my grandmother, but at this time, my cousin went with me. So I'm at the Redskin game. I'm drunk, of course, and my cousin talking to me. I don't think he's saying nothing crazy because I ain't paying my. But my grandmother didn't like what was going on. So the next day when she called my phone, she was like, "Boo, you got to stop that drinking because you don't be paying attention how people talk to you, treat you." Da, da, da. So I said, "All right, mama, I ain't drinking no more." Of course, at the time, it came out my mouth when I didn't want it to come out my mouth. But I actually stopped right that day. When I told her I wasn't drinking no more, I haven't drunk since. I didn't go to no treatment. I didn't go ask nobody nothing. I didn't go read no pamphlets. I didn't go to no AA meetings. I just stopped.
Shows that's a mind thing right there.
Right. And I made it where I wasn't running. I went to I kept myself in the same situations. I'm around my family, my cousins, they got drink. I still not good. I ain't drinking. I'm going to the club. Now I'm good. I ain't drinking. And there's still people to this day that walk to me in the club. Tom, you want to drink? I'm like, bro, I ain't drunk in such and such days. They like, what? You? Yeah, you can do it. It ain't that hard. I had a gentleman
Mm-hmm.
that I seen in the club on Friday called me, was it yesterday? Called me yesterday, said, Tom, I got to ask you how you do it because I got to stop. It's messing up my household. Got to stop drinking. How did you do it? I said, I just decided I wasn't. And when I see it, I just don't do it. I go to the bar, get a water, or if it's a Friday and I got to go to work on Saturday, I get a energy drink, a Red Bull or something, and that's it. I just won't get no alcohol.
Well, you know those are not good for you, right? Those
I
cause
know,
health damage.
I, I, I know, and I don't get them. Not like I normally just drink water, but it's been a couple of Fridays that I know I'm leaving out this club at 2:30. I got to be to work at 6, so I did drink a Red Bull, but it ain't no thing I drink every day. I don't even drink them to be honest. I don't drink them every day because to be honest, since I stopped drinking, I got a whole lot of energy. I feel good.
Good.
Go to sleep, wake up, don't be all sluggish. I get up and get out of here and go to work like it's nothing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Now, my next question, um, how, from your perception, I guess, how has this, affected your family, your children specifically, but, a lot of the times they say when you're doing time, so is your loved ones pretty much. So, how did they cope with that? And, how do you think that affected them? And how did that make you feel about it?
Um, at the beginning, my kids was young, and when I came home, they used to say stuff, and I ain't really listened to it to be honest. I'm like, so now I listen to what they say because they older. I don't tell them they right, and I don't tell them they wrong. I just wait till I'm by myself and registered. Then I deal with them later. So now I'm trying to make all the relationships better. They getting better, but it's work.
So you feel it through the drinking and the incarceration. You've hurt your kids too. Some trauma to them. The effects that you went through has hurt your kids. So you're trying to repair the relationships now.
Yeah, I wasn't a good dad. It ain't no way around it. I wasn't a good.
Well, and are they, I know that it definitely seems like you are trying to make amends and, work towards a change on that. Are most of them or all of them receptive at least? I know there might be a little rough patches, but sometimes kids are just really like, it is what it is. I'm not trying to rekindle nothing. Are they at least like receptive to what you're trying to dish out now?
No, they good.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's, the blow and realization that, you really could have done better as a parent and you don't have really a chance to fix it. That's really tough. So I'm glad that, that everybody head on straight and, willing to be with you during this healing journey. That's a blessing.
Oh yeah. I see them. I see them. Spend time with them. Actually, one of them right here, but it's better.
Do
I'm
you feel
sure.
as though some of your ways, some of your old ways affected your kids now, like some of the things that they're coping with or dealing with? Do you feel as though that your drinking and incarceration played a part in some of their reactions or some of their lifestyles, maybe now, or overcoming certain things?
Yeah, because I wasn't around, and then not only I wasn't around incarcerated. I mean that when I came home, I wasn't around. I still wasn't around. I mean, I was around, but I wasn't around like I was supposed to be. I wasn't doing the things I was supposed to do, but I wasn't in the position neither. See, see, I look at it like I look at it as far as me and my father. My father wasn't around, but that's my. I don't. He tight. I know his situation. He wasn't in a position to be a good father, so I can't hold that on him. But now he great, so I don't even look at the past. What back then, I'm a grown man now. He a grown man. I don't hold him to what he didn't do or what he did. I don't do that. We cool. I don't
Because
even
you're forgiven.
I don't even bring it up. You know, we don't even had no conversations like that. Remember, you ain't do this for me. Remember, I don't even have them type of. I don't even that don't only go down that with my father. I'm happy he living. We see each other. We good. That's it. I ain't worried about the fact I'm a grown man. So why he as a grown man? Why I'm still looking for my father to do some stuff that he didn't do 50 years ago? And it's
Hmm.
crazy because now if I pick up the phone and say I need whatever, he right there because he clean now, so he can be a good father. You know what I mean? My father had addiction, but he clean now. Been clean for years. So now he's he's seeing things like I'm not clean nature.
That was kind of my next question. So I know that came from a pretty good family structure, a solid family structure, but were you a family of drinkers? Like, was that just kind of normal,
No,
within the atmosphere?
no. Ain't,
No.
to be honest, ain't even know my mother wasn't no alcoholic. My father was no. My father was on crack, but he wasn't no alcoholic. And I wasn't around him. I mean, I was around him, but I wasn't doing it. It wasn't like I was in the household with him and he was. I was doing. You know what I mean? I was at that point when he started doing that. I was already in the street, so it was nothing. It didn't bother me that it didn't bother me that he was crack because I'm selling it, so it wasn't like I'm taking care. So it didn't hurt me, you know what I mean, that he on it. But then when I when I got incarcerated for my 10 years, I realized I got two brothers. So I'm like, Dad, can't um you can't do them like you did brother Rashad. So I wrote him a letter and like, look, you gotta get off that stuff and take care of my two little brothers. You got to take care of them, what you ain't do for me and Rashad. And he took heed and he stopped, got off, he been on drugs or he got that letter. So it worked out.
You must have touched them in some kind of way. What I admire about this is I see a lot of forgiveness. And even I'm not at a total place of forgiveness, right? I forgive on certain aspects, but forgiveness is forgiven. It's like you're letting go, you're releasing. But it's a beautiful thing to see. Not only that, a black male that is representing forgiveness, because in our community, in our culture, forgiving is hard. People hold on to grudges like forever. So
But I,
I admire you for that.
I, some reason I know what it is. I never hold grudges. I can argue with you right now, and I ain't mad. I ain't mad in like 10 man. It's over with. I don't hold grudges. I just don't.
It's definitely a good space to be in, just less stress introduced if you can just work past some simple things. So I know in just stories from family members or stories that I've heard, it's really a skill that you pick up being incarcerated, because people are so on edge all the time and bored or whatever the case may be. A grand reasons why something could pop off, but you really learn how to pick and choose your battles, like when to really peep the scene or when to be in the scene. So just having pretty much being introspective is a good tool that you pick up
Yeah,
being
you
incarcerated.
gotta deal with so many personalities in jail,
Mm-hmm.
in so many situations. You don't know what that gentleman just got off the phone hearing. You don't know if he broke up with his girlfriend. His parents died. Somebody. You don't know. So you gotta deal with so many personalities every day, because people just don't understand that jail is a whole nother world that you gotta fight your way, humble yourself to get out of. You can't. Like I say, you can't get away from nothing. You in a box, so you got to deal with anything that you encounter. But in the streets, you can get away with certain stuff. In there, you can't. You got to deal with it head on. And I don't want to see nobody go to jail, and I don't wish that upon nobody. But it's a lot of people, a lot of gentlemen that need to go to jail because they don't got no manners. They don't know how to treat people. They don't know how to talk to people. In there, you got to know how to talk to people, and you got to have manners, or you might not make it out of there.
Mm, mm.
You got to be able to say, "Excuse me, my bad." You got to humble yourself. You got to be polite in a lot of ways. And some of us had these images and these that you just feel you less of a man if you tell another man, "Excuse me" or "My bad." Nah.
Yeah. I want to shift a little bit because we talk about a lot about the trauma piece of it. I want to know, like, for a young male, because as you know, we have a lot of crime going on, and it's not a lot of structure for
Mm-hmm.
the youth, and that's why the Good Form platform, we are creating a youth outreach, and I do want to talk to you about that because I actually think you may, if you're interested. Uh oh, you blacked out, if you're interested, but we'll talk about that later. But I want to
Mm-hmm.
know what advice, coming from the age of 16, and maybe you were doing things before 16 in the streets, right? What
Uh-huh.
advice can you give to the youth to say you don't want this life, like choose a different life? Like, what advice or something that you can give to them?
See, uh, okay, when I first came home from this 10 years, I worked for the line security center, man. I didn't want to do it at first because with this new generation, there's a lot of tension, and they really ain't trying to hear what you talking about. You ain't coming from their era. They don't know you. You was locked up when they got on the street. So the respect level is different. So my buddy passed away, so I ended up saying, okay, I'll do it. So what I learned from that is you got to keep it straight 100 with them. You can't lie to them. You can't sugarcoat nothing. You got to just be straight 100 with them. You have to tell them the consequences of their actions. See, some people try to sugarcoat it to them or their consequences, but you gotta tell them they straight consequences to their actions. Now, to be honest, the way with this social media and um, the way these young kids glorify going to jail and doing these things, it's hard to get to them now. To be honest, it's really hard. You really got to get one. If you can get one, you good. But you can't try to get all of them because I mean you could try to get all of them, but if you're successful with one or two, you got to pat yourself on the back. But if you can get all of them, then you're doing great. But it's a hard job. It's hard. Even with my own son that's been locked up since he was 16, he 25. It's hard. And talking to him on the phone now, by me being incarcerated before, I can see some of the growth in him, but then I see where it's still some more work that can be done with him. You know, if you know what I mean. It's still some work that can be done with him because by him being in there so long, he has a chip on his shoulder that he survived this long in jail and he's more man than the next man. That ain't it. That ain't it. So with him getting released, I'm still gonna have to sit down with him and have a different talk with him because things ain't the same as it was 9 years ago. And I tell him that on the phone all the time, and it's like he's receptive to it, but then you hear the but. But it ain't no buts, man. It ain't no buts. It is what it is. The gentlemen that were strong when you left, some of them weak, and some of the weak ones are strong. So you can't just be going to these people, treating these people in the same manner you was treating them when they left because people change. Things change. You got to sit back and observe what's going on, and you got to tell yourself, I'm going to get a job and I'm going to do the right thing. But if you try to ride that fence, you're going to fall.
Yes, wise words for sure. Now, my question personally, for yourself, um, naturally when you deal with an addiction, normally, the goal is to trade it off with something a little bit more healthier, to bide your time. What has been, the trade off from you for drinking? What do you do to, whatever that feeling is you was getting from drinking that you felt was good? What have you replaced that with?
Um, the feeling I was getting when I was drinking, I was
Well, if that just wasn't a good feeling, no. But
right.
the coping mechanism of it all, behind it all, what have you replaced that with? Outside, pretty much, what is your next addiction, healthy addiction, instead of drinking?
Well, only other addiction I have right now is I told my coworkers today I ain't eating no more donuts and all that stuff. That stuff over. I just start snacking on everything. I think when you was drinking, I wasn't eating as you're not eating as much when you drinking.
Hmm.
So now I eat probably more and I wasn't eating a lot of sweets at first. Now I'm eating all these sweets and all that. I'm like, nah, I can't be doing that. I ain't trying to look like Pillsbury Dough man out here.
Understood. But is it like
Mhm.
now? Has it even gone to the extent of like maybe you become a foodie or something like that? Like how is there just something that you have interest in now that just spend a lot of time? Any hobbies, anything?
Nah, basically I'm still doing the same things. I'm just not drinking. That's it. I treat the drinking like a grudge. I don't hold them. I ain't doing it no more. I just tell myself that every day. It ain't easy. It ain't easy to say that, but it's when it's you and you ready to stop, you gonna stop. It ain't
Mhm.
no one person can tell you this. It ain't no book. It's just you got to be ready to stop. And I think I was ready. I had to be
Yeah,
ready
it's a
because
mind.
I stopped before. So this time I'm really dedicated to it's done. I ain't doing it no more because I think me not drinking uh, makes a lot of people around me happy because they say when I was drinking, I was a different person. So me not drinking now, I'm a joy to be around. Even though I mean, I probably was still a joy to be around then, but I was always drinking. I always went and got a bottle out. But now that I'm sober, I think I'm a better person around my kids than anybody else.
Mhm. And change is good, right? Change is good, and I admire you to, to have the strength just to stop, because a lot of people can't stop. They need AA. They need those things to help them. I tell people self healing is hard, but I do admire, because I seen a post that you have put up, and what you said was someone tried to introduce you to drinking, and your strength, your willpower said no, I ain't doing it. So it speaks volumes about you.
Oh yeah, you gonna have it not now because I'm a little bit gone in the months, but at the days and weeks, you still had with man, you ain't gonna stop drinking. You know what I mean? You still gonna have that. But now that it's almost 6 months in, they understand that I ain't drinking, so I don't have them problems no more. Ain't nobody coming to me, talking about let's drink. And then the funny part is I ain't no follower, so you can't make me do nothing I don't want to do. Then and maybe that's the stubborn Aries in me, but you just can't make me do what I don't want to do. I don't care who you is. We gonna have a fall. You're gonna be mad at me because I'm gonna be like, no, I ain't doing
There's a
And it
lot of
seems like you
followers out here
always it seemed like you always been that way, but you had different boundaries to draw, once you started learning some things. So, just an introspect, it is amazing to see that you've done, a lot of that work by yourself. But with that being said, are there any future goals for yourself, things that you're working on, working towards, any goals you're trying to reach right now? What's going on in your life, and what strides have you made since being sober?
it. Oh well, shoot. Well, since I've been sober, I just work, spend time with my kids, and that's it. But even when I was drinking, I made 2 movies while I was drinking. Um, So now, I mean, now that I'm sober, I'm just trying to live the best life I can. And when I look back, this another thing that makes me don't not drinking. The situations I was putting myself in while I was drunk or intoxicated, I don't want. I never would put myself in a position if I was sober. So that's another reason why I know I ain't drinking. I don't want to drink no more because I don't want to put myself in a position. The man above was with me all them times, and I got out of it. But one of them times I could have not been so lucky. So now that I've been lucky, I'm gonna take advantage of that, and that's it. I ain't gonna put myself in a position no more.
love it. I love it. So I want the audience real quick, man. God, sometimes I wish we had more than that. Like we were longer, because I mean it just the conversations flow. I just, if you can give the audience, if you could just tell them, just give them a couple, maybe two or three things, like positive things of going through the healing process, like through the incarceration, through the drinking as a teen, just some positive advice as to why they should why they should go on a different road and not go to the easy road is drinking or getting on drugs, right? The hard road is staying away from it and doing what's right. So can you give the for the men, the youth, the brothers, especially the ones that have the aggression issues from drinking, just a little bit of transparency or some advice on why they should or could do things differently?
It it might sound like cliche and you hear it all the time, but once you take that drink and you enjoy yourself that night and be drunk and everything going away, when you sober up, you still got the same problem. So what the drinking doing? Drinking ain't doing nothing to take the problem away. It's just taking your mindset or taking you from that situation for a moment. But actually, once you do sober up in the morning, you got the same problems again. You got the same thing that had you drinking from the door. You still got that problem once you. So, with that being said, you're not gonna do nothing but get up, be sober, think about them problems again, and start the process of drinking over again. So, why not just go head on with the problem sober and just don't drink at all? But see, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I just stopped drinking on that. So I don't got nothing against nobody to drink, and I ain't here to bash nobody to drink. I'm just saying, from my experience of these last few months, my life has been a little bit better since I haven't been drinking. And all the problems I had when I was drinking, I don't have none of them problems no more. And the problems I did have, I put my own self in a position. I did it to myself. Nobody else did it to me. My drinking was a big part of my problems. My drinking brought on other problems with family members, my kids, myself. It just drinking just what I felt that it was time to stop. And now I don't have none of them problems I had, and everything going smooth so far.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we are now going to take the time. I'm not sure, if there's projects you're working on based on, your journey. But if not, there might be, some a viewer or two or three or four looking that, might have some questions for you or need some words of wisdom or just, advisement through their situation. We do have your notes running across the screen, but if you can let us know, how to contact yourself if any viewers are interested in doing so.
On Facebook, my name is Thomas Sykes. On Instagram, it's Hakeem Ishmael. I think it's Hakeem Ishmael 9. Real quick, I came up with Hakeem Ishmael because since I've been home these 16 years, I got 2 movies on Amazon and two on and Tubi, Boss and Boss 2, where I have a co-starring role. Um, I did a, I just did a little something in another movie called Pro Set Litigator, and I've been asked to do other few other things. So that's basically it.
Look, you sitting here talking about I just go to work. Look, you got credits and everything to talk about. What you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. But
Right,
You
said.
being too modest, yeah. Like I just go to work and come home. Now you got movie credits. You on streaming services. That's more than what I'm doing. Shoot.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
yeah,
you need to give me some advice because we got to talk.
I advice. I don't, man. I just go day by day.
But I love how you are so humbled, and it's hard to find. And I'm not bashing my brothers, but brothers, a lot of brothers from the older areas, they even them they need to humble themselves a little bit more. So I love to see the transparency of you humbling yourself, you accepting, you coping, you acknowledging, and even having forgiveness because a lot of brothers hold on. It's like if we unite, if more brothers can soak in a little bit more the way you are, we can unite. Like it's
Um,
teaching each other, right? To
real,
get to that position.
real quick, the reason why you you shouldn't hold grudges or you should forgive because you could be put in a situation, especially while you're incarcerated. They send you across the globe, and there's only 6 of y'all from DC. But if you got a grudge with 4, who gonna have your back?
Hmm.
It's y'all six got to go against this state you in. So Y'all gotta be cool with each other. So the grudge gotta go out the door. The beef gotta go out the door because now y'all gotta fend for each other to get out this world. First of all, you gotta fend with each other to get back to this segment. You get sent to the West Coast. You gotta fend for each other to get sent back to make sure all y'all get back to the East Coast. So it's no, you don't got time to be holding no grudges, no beefs, and that's what these young guys don't realize. Yeah, you over the y'all beef with each other. But when you get sent to another state where that state got way more y'all, and there's only 10 of y'all, them same dudes you beef with that's from another neighborhood, you might need them to make it home.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no guarantee you come home when you go to jail.
Yeah.
You can run to somebody that's having a bad day that just don't care. They got life. You know, he ain't going nowhere, no way. And here you is talking about, oh yeah, when I get out, I'm gonna do. He might say, okay, I ain't going out, so you ain't going out either.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot you got to deal with in there. So, like I said, it's a bad place to go, but it can help you in a lot of ways to become a better man. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
wish I need to go there to find this out. But being though I went there, it's a lot of things in jail that can teach you how to be a better man.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it here. We are at time. Thomas, we want to thank you
You welcome.
for your wisdom, your courage, the change. Like I said, I've been watching you for a little bit, so I definitely see the change, and God bless you, and continue to keep doing what you're doing, and be not just for a positive role model for our youth, but also a positive role model for the brothers that are going through stuff right now. And I hope that folks are really looking. If Thomas is open, so anyone on here, please go support him. Add him as a friend on your Facebook. Go follow him on TikTok. Email him. Um, he has a lot of positive energy around him that you can absorb from. So if you haven't learned anything today, or the message that you receive, forgiveness. Once you forgive, you don't hold on. There is no grudge. You let go. And you've heard Thomas say all of the folks that he has forgiven, all of the things that he has let go. And our youth, listen to what he's saying, going from 16, the traumas. He didn't come from a dysfunctional household. The things that he did was by choice. So, I mean, listen, you don't want to put yourself in that position, because now a lot of our youth are going under and falling to prey, and the system unfortunately is taking over our youth because they have been subject to that. So if there's any way, just acknowledge the what you're going through, the hurt and pain that you're going through, and think about it before you do it, because if you do it and then you think about it later, it's going to be too late. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
for tuning in to Unfiltered Unspoken. Thomas, thank you for coming on. Sid, of course, thank you, Boo, for rapping. And we're gonna keep sharing these life experiences. And we ain't finished. We coming back. We're gonna keep giving it to you. Unfiltered
Thank,
Unspoken. Huh? You got something to say, Thomas? Sorry.
thank you for the opportunity,
Were you
and
saying something?
yeah, I said thank you for
I
the
can't.
opportunity, and I'll come back any day. I ain't, just let me know.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's some things I'm gonna talk to you about, but let's go ahead and close it out. Thank you for tuning into Unfiltered Unspoken.